Okay.
Okay, so welcome everyone to Presenters. And this month we have a special treat. We have the views of a librarian, a most important person in any ER program. So I'd like to introduce Tamao Eryu. Please share your wisdom with us.
OK。これ、まず。Can I? Oh, sorry. 見えない。そうか。Sorry, I want to. え、よいしょ。
Yep, there we
OK.
go.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine.
And I also share the PDF. That's right. Yeah, I send the PDF of this, right?
Everything looks good for us.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hello. Okay. Oh, thank you for inviting me to a session. So today, I'd like to explain why and how I support the ER program. Oh, here is the outline. First, let me introduce myself. Can I hear?
Yep,
Okay.
everything seems
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I'm a teacher librarian. Teacher librarians are not the same as school librarians. I'm a teacher with a certificate, and I'm capable of teaching students how to use the library and provide literacy instruction. I'm also the manager of school library. Before, I was a language arts teacher at a Japanese high and junior high school, but now I don't have classes anymore. I have been at Meiji University, Meiji High School, and Meiji Junior High School for 16 years now, and have supported the ER program since 2009. In 2007, I started working at Meiji High School and saw graded readers for the first time in the library. I knew nothing about graded readers. At that time, the library had about 400 English books, and the English teachers had over 100 books in their English room. In 2008, the school moved to a new building. After moving, I thought I needed to support teachers and students more. At the same time, the English teachers were stuck with managing the ER books. The English teachers wanted help from the library. So I told them, okay, let's put the ER books in the library. That's it. We started the ER program in the library in a very simple way in 2009. And I learned about the ER program little by little. This is our school library. It is located in the center of the school building, so access the library is very easy to students. We have 70,000 Japanese books and 7,000 English books. I know most of the libraries do not help with the ER programs. I want to explain what the problems are for librarians with the ER program. There are differences between librarians and English teachers that can cause stagnation. For example, Librarians want to classify books by their content according to DDC or NDC. And we want to place labels on the books to find and return books on shelves. Some librarians do not want to put other things on the books. We also organize books on bookshelves following the labels of DDC or NDC. On the other hand, English teachers want to classify books by levels, series, or publishers. They don't know or care about DDC or NDC. And they want to put labels that show book levels and word counts. These are not labels for organizing and returning the books to the right place. Sometimes they use color labels on the books. There is also a huge obstacle for the librarians. What do you think it is? The answer is that most librarians are not used to shelving English books. We have the knowledge for books in the native languages, but we know nothing about books in other languages. If you want the English books in the library, you need book data. For books in Japanese, when the library buy a book, they also buy the book data from a data company. But for books, book data needs to be created manually because it's not available. Then, in such a situation, let me talk about why I'm supporting the program. By the way, do you know the mission of school libraries? This is from IFLA, School Library Manifesto. Please read later. Oh. This is also stated by IFLA. Given the above, the mission of school libraries is to collect a variety of books for students and teachers to read and learn. So when school librarians get together, we always talk about how we can support students and teachers. I think fit perfectly with the mission of the school libraries. That's why I started supporting the program. But as I said earlier, librarians have some problems when supporting And I know some English teachers do not have support from the libraries. So I will tell you why I am able to support the program at our school. The reason is simple. I can support the program because the English teachers give support to the library work. Some of you may think that school libraries are different from other libraries. For example, in university, it is never rare that teachers help with library work. But if you want support from the library, you need to support them too. For example, creating the book data of our books would be a strong support for librarians. When I spoke about this, one of the university English teachers said, Foundations has a data. Why is making data the big problem for librarians? Let me tell you again, librarians are professionals with native languages, but not with books in other languages. Most librarians have never ever heard of Foundations. Also, the website is in English only. You can't expect the librarians to read all the English and find the books data on their own. Support the librarians with these things and then you can start discussing further support. Oh, sorry. Yes. And I'm sure many librarians could not allow this state. But librarians need to compromise. None of the students complained that they could not find the books in this state. So if your librarian says they can't accept this kind of state, tell them, take it easy. I will explain how I support the ER program. First, the English teachers create the book data. Then I put the data in the library system and print the labels. If you have any questions about this, my coworker Noriko will answer them later. After I put the data, students can use the OPAC to search for books. For example, when a student enters dog in the free word search, they can find many dog books. They can also check the publisher's levels and word counts. If there are CDs, student can find CD number. And student can check popular books like this. And I also help students at the checkout counter and among the bookshelves. The library keeps a track of what each student read. I can share some information with the English teachers. I'd also like to add that day and month state that when the student read in the library, it is difficult for teachers to observe the students, and so it is a demerit to work in the library. However, in a school, I can observe the student as a teacher and share information with English teachers. I can inform teachers with book trend, any difficulty students are having, good size in the library, how well students are choosing books, popular books, and so on. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, oh, I have. Oh, oh. Sorry. Sorry, I have no idea. Oh, yes. Yeah. And sorry, I lost my
That's okay.
handout.
It happens. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. When the English teachers work together with the library, it is students that benefit most. Students can get instruction in the English class and have individual support from the teacher librarian. The library system is also helpful for English teachers. English teachers can check if students have borrowed books or not. And they can check popular books like this. In conclusion, I'd like to say, ask your library to support the ER program. It will be a great help for you and your students. But when you ask the library for support, tell them that you can help create the book data. If you need help from library, offer help to the library. Don't just ask for one-way support. Mutual help is the most important thing for the ER program in the library. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry, technical difficulties happen to everyone. Don't worry. So thank you very much. Actually, I'll start with a comment that Pat has put into the comments here.
Oh.
And he would very much like you to tell us in Japanese what we can say to our library when we want to offer help for creating book data. So how can we offer help in Japanese? What do we say to our librarians?
Maybe Noriko knows about
Noriko, maybe?
yeah, English.
In Japanese. Yeah.
書誌データ、書誌データを作ります。So that
Very-
means book data. And then each librarian has their own style of what kind of data they want. Not the one that Tamao showed is a very simple one that we use because
Yeah.
Tamao compromised a lot. But for the Japanese books, there are much more information on the OPAC system. So when the English teachers ask the librarian, ask the minimum
yeah.
the minimum shoshi data, the book data that they want.
So what other data would be useful if you're getting minimal data for the extensive reading books as compared to Japanese books? What other data would be useful for the librarian?
Renewal data is good. We don't need the pages or 何 size はいらないでしょ You don't need that.
What about keywords and things like that? So, of course, you were talking about the Dewey Decimal or the Nippon Decimal System, which, of course, is broken down into subjects. But for greater readers, that's not quite done. So is there a keyword search or anything? Like you said, searching for dog would bring titles of books with dog, but if the book is called Man's Best Friend or Jojo, My Friend, and it's about a dog, is there a way of having that keyword search, or is that something that would be very useful to have?
That would be a lot of work for the English teachers.
Yeah.
And also for the English teachers, they have to read the book also, right? To create that kind of content data, which is what we want, but not all the teachers read the books.
And actually, students don't use OPAC for searching books.
What's the usual way that the students search for books if they're not using OPAC? Are they
they just pick up the
covers
from bookshelves?
So, Paul, do you want to ask your question there?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Eryu Sensei, thank you very much for sharing today, and thanks for your support with extensive reading. My question is, so why don't the English books have this shoshi data? And is it just the graded readers that don't have the data, or is it all English books don't have this data?
a lot of English books.
Why not? They're not registered with the Japanese system or something?
I don't know why, but
Hmm.
some authentic books have data.
Okay.
So like Harry Potter or Jane the
Right.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if your library buys Japanese books, then you buy the print books and they automatically come with this shoshi data or metadata, and it's you just plug it into your system. Like okay. Is it, I wonder if it's because the readers aren't registered with the National Japanese Diet Library?
Yeah.
I think
Diet Library.
when I was publishing graded readers, there was something they recommended that I registered for, and it was a Japanese kind of system, and and I didn't do it. But and then they said that it doesn't matter, that you have to publish if you sell under 20 copies, then you don't need to do it or something like that. But anyway, I was just curious why, but it's interesting. So the shoshi data for you is just like the ISBN and the publisher name.
Yeah.
I think there were a few other categories on Excel sheet. Okay, that's interesting. Do you have the same problem with ebooks? I mean, does your library buy graded readers as ebooks too, or just print books?
Just print book.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you very much. I think that answers my question.
And Pat makes a comment, which perhaps Atsuko could comment on, which is JERA makes a wonderful book catalogue once or twice a year that might have all that data in. Atsuko, could you talk about that, please?
We let's say not we, well, mainly the top of SEG Furukawa-san. He started to sell that the book for every other years. He was the book report. Well, no, not report, but book. Oh, what did I say? A book to introduce almost all the ebook. Almost all the books, paper books, and from most of the famous or big publishers. And it is everything is ordered alphabetically ordered, the series and publishers. And it's we get the book. The member of the JERA all get one book, but it is also on it's you can get the data online. Anybody can get the data online, and we revise it twice a year. Yeah. And so it's very new. Well, I wouldn't say the newer books, and almost everything. But it is very difficult to have those things in the library. I think in Japanese library. I used to work at high school, and then that librarian at that high school started reading books. She didn't like English she was not very good at English, so that's why she became a librarian. That's what she said. But when the students took a book and they check out a book, and she thought, I can read that easy books, and then she started reading. So she was influenced by the students. And she read and read and read and a million words, and then she helped even counting words. She helped counting words. I always asked my students to count word of each book, or Macmillan book before we had that number of words in each class. But anyway, that librarian started to help counting. And then there's the ER book corner. So it was arranged by publisher and the publishers and the series, and from the easy one to the difficult books. So completely different arrangement from Japanese books. So that high school, and also there's a public high school in Tottori Ken. It was a beautiful library, English books of library as a public school. It's great. But that also the librarian helps or arranging, but they have a special corner of those English books. So it's arranged differently from Japanese system. So I think it helps for students to choose. And also teachers, well, I'm sorry, not many teachers don't read books. Well, they should read books before they start teaching extensive reading. And otherwise they cannot suggest these books is good for you, or if you like this genre and you can read this one. This is very important for the teacher to know to read and know those books, the contents, and also to know about the teacher and the students. So, but anyway, I would like to ask you one question. So you said you are in Meiji University and high school and junior high. So do you have a big library for those university, or each university and high school or junior high, do they have different libraries or
Yeah.
one?
No.
Different. Oh, I see. So it was a center of the campus, didn't you say that? So I don't know where is Meiji University far from high school and junior high?
Oh yeah, far from.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
we're
I
on a
see.
different campus.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
I see. I thought it was the same place.
No,
I've
we
never been
have
to it.
4 campuses for the university and a single campus for the high school and junior high school.
4 campuses
Mm-mm.
in junior high? I don't know, university?
University.
University.
Wow. It's
So in total, we have 5 libraries,
mhm.
1 in each campus. And Tamao
Wow.
manages the one at high school and junior high school.
Wow, that's great. And as you told, I think you spoke about what kind of books are very popular, or how many students they read, was those things you can get data, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
teachers don't really get like personal data because that's confidential. But
Oh, yeah.
but Tamao informs us who has borrowed or who hasn't borrowed at all.
Pardon me?
So what each student borrowed is confidential. So that information is secret. But Tamao tells the English teachers who has borrowed a lot
Oh,
and
I see.
have borrowed none.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So when I learn
Mhm.
some students have not borrowed any book, I would go to them and ask why they're not reading.
Okay. So how about the class? Well, in my former high school, and the librarians checked how many books each class. They are not competing, but still. So this class read the English book most. And every month they repeat it. No, they get the data. Each class get the data. And interestingly, those classes who read English books most started reading Japanese books. It's great. And when we started extensive reading, they don't read Japanese. And how can they read English books? Some English teacher said. But, those who started reading English books, and then they gradually started reading Japanese books at the same time. That's the librarian got, she always counted the number of books that which class read, and then they reported. And then more interesting thing is that English books first and then Japanese books, then they started studying there in the library after. Yeah. So I'm really surprised and very happy to hear that. Yeah. Well, thank you. I talked too much. Yeah. But you are helpful, very, very good for teachers and students, the library. Well, actually, I'm working at Juku now. I retired from university and I'm working at Juku and teaching from 4th graders up to high school. And then I wish I had a librarian at Juku. I do both. Yeah, well, not to do, but this Juku is a small English Juku, so there's not enough books. So I carry my books every week, and I have more books than the library. You know, I've been teaching extensive reading for over about 30 years. So my library is just huge. There's no place to put, so it's in the hardboard, and this is ORT, and this is a step into reading, and this is worked so all over my boys' rooms. After they left home, they're living in Tokyo, so there are 2 empty rooms with just books and books and books. But I'm very happy my students love to read, even 4th graders and up to the high school students, 30-year high school students. They love to read it. I'm so happy. Yeah. So
having too many books is definitely a good problem to have, I think.
Yeah. It's my muscle training. I carry books every week. Yeah. So I hope teachers would read more.
I agree.
Students read more than teachers. Yeah.
So the JERA, the book list that we were talking about, does Meiji, do you use that there for some information? Noriko, Tamao?
Basically we don't. Basically we create the data from scratch. Especially because we have our own levels for each book.
Right.
Yeah, we divide our books in 5 levels, and that was adjusted for our students only. Originally, we had like 7 grades, like 7 levels, but then we realized that that was like too specific. So we decided to make it more like general. So so we always explain to the students that in each level there's a wide range, but don't worry so much. Just try to find the right book for yourself. So yeah, we instruct them to start with very easy ones and then start searching for like books that are longer or books that have longer sentences. And if they can cope with that, they can go on to the next level.
So Noriko-san, how do you arrange your levels at your school?
We started off with Aiken levels.
Okay.
Yeah, I share the levels like that.
Right. And now we kind of follow the headwords.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so that makes sense. Going to the headwords, okay.
Yeah.
Most readers have a headword count, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And Tamao and Noriko, do you read the books
Oh, yeah.
as librarians?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we had like when we have a little time among the teachers, we like Tamao and I gather the other subject teachers,
Mm.
promote them to read one of the graded readers and come
Yeah.
together once a week.
Mm.
They do a little book talk. And it's interesting when we originally started, it was for teachers who are really strongly interested in English, but then gradually the community spread, and we have lots of different subject teachers joining, coming in and coming out.
Yeah.
Once we had an interesting experience where the PE teacher joined us. His English was really, really bad at the very beginning. Like we didn't understand his book talk at all at the beginning. But week after week of reading, he started to make sense. And it was really amazing for us. And what was rewarding for himself was that for the summer, he went to a little, a short-term sabbatical kind of to Hawaii. And he himself was surprised that he could make himself understood. So he talks about his experience a lot to the students. And it's more encouraging than the English teachers talking about it.
What kind of books did he read? Curious. I'm curious what kind of things he was reading.
Oh, it was the Oxford classic books. Like classic books, classic tales for children. So he was reading Gingerbread Man.
Yes, I saw that was on the top of the list of popular books.
Yeah.
That surprises me. I mean, it's a good story, but it surprises me that that would be such a popular one in the school.
For some reason, yeah, it is always popular. Yeah.
So the one thing I was wanting to ask about, which is the Japanese classification system. So most English, native English speakers are familiar with Dewey Decimal. How does the Nippon Decimal system differ? I mean, other than obviously in Japanese books, but how is it based on Dewey? Is it
yeah, based on Dewey, yeah, very similar.
Because Dewey is quite an old system, and because of that is not super great at newer things, classifying new technologies and new things. So the Nippon system, is that a little bit newer, so it is easier to take into account new technologies or new things?
Yeah, but because なんていうの、改定されてるから。The change?
It's revised.
Yeah, revised. So, 10、今はね、第10版なの。なんていうの？
Oh, right.
10th edition.
Yeah.
10th edition, so it's regularly updated.
Yeah, add information or AI and something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just very interesting. I'm just not at all familiar with it. So, of course, it makes complete sense to have a Japanese system. And now you talked about encouraging English teachers to offer help, which obviously a wonderful idea. With the labeling, now at your school, do the English teachers help with labeling the graded readers?
Yeah.
Yes. Once or twice a year, especially during the entrance exams. In the evening, we have time because we're waiting for all the marks to be gathered and the decisions to be made. So we have like 2 or 3 hours of waiting. So during that time, the English teachers gather up in the library and we do the labeling, we do the data making.
Yeah.
Like a working bee.
Yes, I think there was a picture.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry. I showed the Noriko working was working.
I thought I
in the
saw
library.
Noriko's face flash before our eyes.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of has a session of helping with the labeling and it sounds great.
It took 10 years though. It took 10 years to involve all the teachers. Like sometimes we kind of have to force them to help. So at one time I asked each teacher to make data for 10 books and put the sticker on 30 books. I allowed them to have like a month to finish it. But I kind of forced them to do it because I made a little like a bundle and I put it on their desk so that they can't forget it. So I forced them to
Like that.
help.
Ah, there we
But
go.
then, yeah, but then gradually, like everyone started to help out because like making data for 10 books it doesn't take so much time. And placing the stickers on the books, it doesn't take so much time, and they realize that. So when I ask the students to gather up like this in the picture, everyone kind of comes. So I always try to make the time also short because I know teachers are busy. Some teachers are not interested. So I always tell them that 30 minutes. If they can help more than that, that's welcome, but at least 30 minutes. Somewhere like between what time and what time, and they will show up.
I think it's a great idea because it is a lot of work. If only one person is responsible, it can take a long time. I know, voice of experience, I spent 4 hours yesterday processing 100 books. So
Ooh.
putting the data in the database, putting the sticky labels, filling out the sticky labels, putting the stickers on everything. And it took such a long time. I mean, I feel great that I did it, but would be nice to have help.
Yeah, 4 hours for me, but 80 English teachers, 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you recommend books to students yourselves? Like Tamao, like if you've read a good book, like a graded reader, do you recommend books to your students?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Gingerbread Man, perhaps?
The foundations.
Do you have a favorite series or a favorite book? Like what kind of things do you recommend?
Yeah, I love foundations. I got the signature of Love Boring last year.
It is a
Stop
very popular
publishing,
series.
right? Sorry. So, Foundation Reading Library, they stopped publishing.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, it's pity because students love that.
Yes.
Elementary school kids to high school, all of them, they love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought several series just before it stopped reading.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
next
can I
reading
ask
have
you one question?
foundations.
So when you put the labels of the book, is it allowed for you or for English teachers to put the label on the book of the library book? So at one university, they didn't allow us to use because they have their own label. So I talked to the head of the librarians and several times, but he said no, 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 no. And so finally, if I stop it and nobody will do that, and what are you do? What would you do? And then the librarian at the top said, "We're not going to help you. So if you can do it, you can do." So I asked teachers, part-time teachers, for several part-time teachers, and I just put use the labels for students to read, just the series and YL also, because students want to know the level very easily, and then the number of words, the regular labels, about 6,000 books for during spring vacation. So for teachers, what's say the teacher, part-time teachers helped me, and then after that, more and more students started reading because of those labels. That's necessary. So that university, well, after that, they were okay, but that time that we need it, and I had to fight with that several times. Yeah.
Does your library system, Tamao, do you have the capacity or the ability to track word counts or pages read for the graded readers? So a lot of extensive reading programs require students to read a certain number of words per week. Does your library system allow that data to be put in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very handy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as for JERA book, the word book, it's open. If you go to JERA, the home page of JERA, and you can find it. The very brand new 2024. Yes, this is it. Yes.
It's the JERA list.
Yeah.
Which is quite good. It has the genre. I like that. That's really quite good. And so it has like a little introduction, and then the nitty gritty. Here's the there's a lot of stuff in there. It's extremely useful, and I use that a lot. Thank you very much to everyone who has helped put this together.
Yeah,
Extremely.
we did borrow the information from the homepage. And we do reference this when we can't find the information on the internet or on the book. But we have our own level system. We don't use the YL. So that part, like we have to check the head words, decide which level.
But head words is, well, not all the publishers use the same head words. For example, Oxford Oxford Bookworm 1. No, I mean, Macmillan 1 is much easier than Oxford 0 series or Cambridge 0 series. So YL is, well, for Japanese students, YL is easier to check the difficulty of the books, I think.
Yeah.
And also with that book list, it's good that it has graded readers and leveled readers in the same document.
Right.
So you can get Step Into Reading designed for American kids, as well as EFL or ESL books geared towards English learners. And it's all in one place, so it's quite useful.
Yeah.
So do you have a support or a liaison or something from the library? Obviously, having some sort of connection between the librarian and the English teachers is very important. Do you have somebody who is like the dedicated liaison person between the department, or is that you, Noriko? Okay.
It's me, basically. But what's interesting is that the library has become the hub for information. So like among English teachers, I don't discuss what I'm doing for ER in my grade with other grades. But Tamao has all the information from all the grades. So we can just drop in the library because we have library like putting the books back in the shelf duty. So all the teachers have duty once a week. And so when we drop into the library, she would tell us which grade is doing what while we're doing the job. And so she's kind of like the center of information for everyone.
Very important.
Yeah, it's interesting that the library did become the hub for all of the information, because usually I think most schools would think the teachers need to work together among different grades for the ER program to work. But you know, we're all too busy to talk with each other. So it's really nice that when we drop into the library that she would give us some tips and infos about other grades and what my grade students would be reading.
What kind of tips and information do you share, Tamao? What kind of tips and information are you sharing with the teachers?
It's difficult. Yeah. If some English teachers doesn't encourage the students, I said Noriko did something for student or yeah, other teachers tips shared other English teacher.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
For example, basically right now, most of the teachers will say read 1,000 word a day for 5 days, which makes 5,000 words per week. We gradually found out which word, like how much words would be like suitable for our students. Tamao was the main person to kind of grasp the, what do you say, the atmosphere that the students have. Yeah, so that kind of information also, and also, for example, if I do like a, what do you say, a book report in the class, which worked, I would tell Tamao, then Tamao would spread the word in the library.
That sounds wonderful. It really does. It's like you say, I think having a hub, having a place where you can actually disseminate information, I think is very, very important in any system. And how many teachers are currently doing extensive reading in their classes at the school?
Basically, the high school teachers will do it throughout the whole year. But it depends how much. It depends on the teacher how much they would promote strongly. But everyone does it. And for the junior high school, basically, the teachers who love ER would start at junior 1. Most teachers start at junior 2 after they learned all the past tense.
Yeah.
And then for junior 3s, a lot of the teachers like to do reading together a whole book in the classroom and then encouraging the students to read on their own.
And how many teachers do you have at?
We have 17 full-time teachers, and I think it was 6 part-time teachers. But basically, the full-time teachers work with the ER.
That's a lot to coordinate.
Noriko sensei,
Yeah.
did you just say you had a lot of you had students reading the same book? So does that mean the library has a large number of the same book?
No.
Are you using an e-system? Oh, sorry. How are you getting them to read the same book? I'm assuming libraries don't have like 30 copies
No,
of the same.
no, we don't. So we buy it.
Yeah.
We ask the students to buy it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
sometimes it's
Mm.
it's like a winter homework to go
Yeah.
and buy the book themselves in the bookstores.
Mm.
It's very interesting to find.
And you have them buy, in some cases, buy the same book.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can discuss it. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
right.
so that's basically for junior high school students. So they go to the bookstore, probably with their parents, and then they will find all the large book on sale, the English books on sale. And the parents learn that, it's a trend to read English books.
I mean, I think that's great, but it's not, I mean, to buy a graded reader, what's that, about 1,000 yen? And typically the student will have read it in, probably an hour, or depends on the reader, of course. So it doesn't make a lot of sort of economical sense for them to be buying them. I mean, at least the print versions. If you have not, you do the online things like eStation or X Reading, then sure. But yeah,
Students can donate to school.
Yes,
school
I was gonna
library
say,
after they finish reading.
That's
I can
right.
get them from their senpai. That's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Mm.
But fortunately, in our school, parents will buy the book.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's impressive.
Yeah, one high school in public high school in Osaka, the best high schools, they started X reading because there weren't not enough students to read the same book. So they started X reading, and then the reading amount is really, really improved. And they bring that tablet in the classroom. I mean, I think that the Osaka prefecture provided one for each student. So they bring in the classroom, and then the teacher gives them about 15 minutes to read while teachers were checking their homework and their reading. And then after reading, and they had to discuss on the book they read with the students in English. So it was a very, very great school. And I went to observe the class twice or 3 times. And some people come from Tokyo to observe that class because it was so a success. Oops. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Takase Sensei, was that Tennoji High School by any chance? Oh, have we lost her? Oh, we lost the sound.
Sorry. Yeah. Stop.
I think we just lost you briefly.
He's back.
I'm sorry. No. So that high school is the top high school in Osaka. So in 1 year,
Tennoji High School?
Pardon me?
Sorry, is that Tennoji High School you're talking about?
No, Kitano High School. Public.
Oh, of course. Okay, yes,
school.
yes.
Yeah.
Kitano. Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So I went to see the first year students in, I think it was May or June for the first time, and they were normal. Well, they're very good, but not extremely good. But the second visit was after a year, and their English was fluent. All the students were talking, and I was really amazed because they're talking about the books and everything, and sleep on, and reading is reading and fluency, fluent, and then also speaking is really good. And I asked them, has anybody learned conversation in junior high school, or anybody has been abroad? And nobody. Just in that class for 1 year, they're improved greatly. Yes, it's amazing. And then they're reading X reading, and then it not only that school they're reading a lot, but at some other school, the teacher assigned to read about a certain amount of words in the first semester, and then some students cheat, you know, to go to reach let's say the homework. They don't read. They just pick up a thick book and they just turn pages, and then those students, not some, a lot of students did it. So just to give the number of words is not a good idea. Then if I used to give the test first, and then find out what students should be reading, easy ones, and then they have to read about 100 books in 3 months. Then 100 books, that means they cannot read very long books, thick books. So they keep reading very easy ones. And the second semester, they can grade up. And they don't cheat, because easy books is easy to read. 100 books, oh. But even easy books, they think they did it. Oh, I did it, I cleared it, and they're very happy. So it depends on the teacher, and it depends on the students. So if you can, if the students are very, very serious students, and then you don't have to worry about it. But there are many different kinds of students, especially university students. But junior high and elementary kids, or junior high and senior high, they are very honest. So, I'm enjoying, it's busy, but I'm enjoying teaching elementary school kids. Yeah.
Actually, Tamao and Noriko, I know that your school has started using X-reading recently. Have you seen any differences with the students? If they're using X-reading, do they still use the paper books as well, or have you seen any changes? Tamao, perhaps, have you, as a librarian, have you seen many differences, any changes?
We started from May,
Too soon.
end of April, so I don't feel any change.
So students still come to the library
Yes.
and get a book.
Yeah, I heard from Tamao recently that some of the students were saying they love papers more than digitals, although they're always online. Still, they say they like reading books, like physical books. Yeah, that was interesting, and we'll find out which works better.
We'll ask you again next year what happened.
Yeah. But personally, like I get comments in the classroom, and the students are saying that they feel at ease at accessing to books because they can access in the trains or anywhere they want. Sometimes the students cannot borrow books because they didn't return it for a long time. So now they don't have to like stay in the library to read. They can go anywhere to read. Of course, that's for the minor students.
Did you have much or did you have many problems with books disappearing and not being returned, like ever? I mean, disappear?
Yeah, a lot. Some years we have, I don't know, maybe 50 books disappearing. But last year it was better. It was much better. When more teachers are enthusiastic in doing ER, the books are returned more. When the teachers are not like promoting a lot, the books kind of tend to get lost. They never come back.
Do the students or their families get fined if they Like, do they have to pay money to replace the book?
If we find out who it is, yes. But that's also a difficult part. We asked them not to, like, what do you say, matagashi, lend again to, you borrow it with your name and then lend it to your friend. That's the main reason the books get lost. So we ask the students not to do that, but they do.
I suppose it's good that they're sharing things with friends, but it does make it very difficult to track.
Yeah.
Yes, Kimberly's written in the chat here, there's convincing evidence published that English learners of Japanese prefer paper books, even when trained how to get the best out of their digital books. So yes, I think just anecdotally, I think we all kind of know that the ebooks are very, very good for access and ease. But there's something about holding a paper book that really makes you connect with whatever the story is or whatever the information is. And yes, Kimberly does say it's better than anecdote, the written research.
Yeah. The students do say that they prefer they prefer physical books, especially when they're doing a book talk or making a presentation on the book. They say they want to reread it, like in some parts again, to make the presentation more interesting. So once I saw a student print out the whole book just to make that presentation, and we told them not to do that. So we were kind of surprised, but they insisted that they wanted that story physically.
Wow. I think this is something we're probably all going to be challenged with over the coming years, as more access to digital books becomes available, that we will face the problem of books not being published in a physical form. So, for example, the Foundation Reading Library not publishing anymore in paper form, but it's still available digitally. So
Really?
I think, I mean, it's available through X-Reading, I believe.
Yeah, X-Reading. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think perhaps there might be more of that coming our way. Yeah. Do you have any plans for dealing with those kind of things? I suppose it's a bit early to be thinking of that, but yeah. I suppose we'll wait and see.
そうですね。
Yeah, for me, my learners, we're using ebooks at the moment exclusively, but a lot of them do say they would prefer to be able to access the print version, especially the ones who are doing a lot of reading. And I wonder if it's because they're doing it on their smartphones and it's just a tiny screen and they're spending so much time. But yeah, but other students also say I prefer the ebooks because they're accessible, more accessible than, they can read them anywhere. They don't have to lug around books. For my graded readers that I publish now, probably about 95% of the sales are ebook or subscription royalties. So 5% is selling print books. So yeah,
Probably
yeah,
I bought.
yeah. Thank you very much for that, Sandra. Yeah, you and a couple of others.
Yeah.
But yeah,
your books are very popular, I must say, and the way that you've written them in parts of a series. The Breaking Free is really popular. Rising Star, I've got a student reading her way through that at the moment. It's
yeah,
small
thanks.
chunks, and it's really popular.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to sort of get them to sort of they're spending time choosing these books and investing time and knowing the characters, why not sort of build series around these so they get sort of hooked, and up to sort of almost novel length series. So yeah, that was my plan, but it's a work in progress. I'm glad your readers are enjoying them.
Well, series, I think you touched on something really important there. I find that having a series of books is really important for, well, not important, just for students wanting to engage in something. That's why the Oxford Reading Tree is such a popular series, because everybody gets to know Biff, Chip, Kipper, Floppy. They know the characters and they want to see the next adventure of, what these characters get up to. So I always find that the books that come out in a series tend to be a lot more popular than standalone titles. And it doesn't matter how amazing that standalone book is, the series will always get a little bit more love, I think, than the standalone book.
Yeah,
Sure
I would agree with that, with my learners at least as well. The only thing is, if you're sort of using a print library, then you run into the problem where they go to read the next book in the series and someone else has already sort of got the copy, or unless you have a lot of copies of the books, I suppose you can run into problems with the print library. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. For the Magic Tree House series, we recommend the students to read like in order. But sometimes some books are missing because others are borrowing it.
It would be really good to have like a central library where you could borrow books, get them sent out, because I think during the pandemic, when my school went online for quite a long time, I guess we're trying to not think about that, but it was quite a while. And so all the students kept reading and we would send books out. We would choose in a Zoom lesson and then we would post out the books and they would return the books. And then we would, have a backwards and forwards. Some students came to the front door and swapped books. But it was actually very easy to post out books in a timely way and get them back. We're blessed in Japan, I think, with a very good postal service and other courier services. And it would be really good to have like a central library where you could, like on an online catalog, choose a book and then have it sent out to you. That would, get around the limited library problem. But I mean, in a different world, perhaps. Yes, Netflix for ER, says Kimberly. Yeah, I'm surprised nobody's sort of done that kind of thing with books.
True. That might be another business.
And especially, generally speaking, people in Japan do look after books. Having said that, I do know lots of junior, senior high school students who do not look after books very well. But generally speaking, there are a lot of people who do look after books. So having a library, a lending library, is perhaps a little bit better than overseas, maybe. I don't know, in terms of respect for books, maybe. But yeah, Netflix for ER. Yeah. Yes, and Kimberly also says space requirements for libraries with paper books. That's obviously an issue.
Yeah. それは説明できますよね。エリュウ先生。スペースの話。
Yes.
まあね。But yeah, I
日本語でもいい。Yeah, you can speak.
Yeah, some libraries do not have enough space. I recommend the book truck, so you know the moving cart. Book cart. Do you know the book truck?
Would you be thinking about like a cart that you put books on,
Yeah,
or an
yeah,
actual
yeah.
truck that you put books in? Because mobile library
Mhm.
or a book cart?
The cart.
Card.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving bookshelves. It's
Yeah.
easy to keep. Um, and if you don't enough space, なんだろう you make the space if busy. なんて言えばいいのかな I'll show you the book truck. Maybe I can. Oh, これ、のりこが使ってるのが、that is. This is a book truck. Do you know that? Like this.
A shelving trolley, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, 間違えちゃった。
Ah,
これ
so it's called shelving trolley. In
Yeah.
Japanese, we call it book truck for
book
some
truck.
reason.
Sounds wonderful, just like a baby car. Always a bit
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
giggle for English
Mm.
speakers. Book truck, interesting.
It's quite expensive.
Um,
because, like it's what it has to be sturdy and it has to have a really good what do you say? なんだっけ tire on it. It's quite expensive, but yeah, we asked the school to buy it a little by little. First, we were declined from the school, but there was a teacher who fought for it, and he managed to buy several book trucks for us, and that's how we expanded our library.
That's really good. Yeah. I wish I could expand the physical space of my school. I'm kind of hitting the limits of where I can put books, which is certainly a problem, but a
Yeah.
good
And also,
problem.
yeah. Also, when you do SSR in the classroom, and it's very, very handy to use the book track. Yeah, to carry like this. I
Yeah.
used to carry in the board card, hardboard, but book track is, yeah. And then you can keep it in, not keep, well, no, it's dangerous if you keep it in the classroom, but always somebody is using the book track. And it's,
and we also use the little bookshelves.
Ah, yes.
oh,
Yes, I use those too. They go perfectly at Oshire.
Yeah, yeah, おしいです。
Yeah.
のりこ found them.
Yeah, that's what I use too.
Very useful.
I have to buy that in our house then.
They're very, very good. They're the perfect size for putting into the Oshire. So you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
tuck the books away. So
yeah. Yeah.
well, has anyone got any other questions for Tamao and I guess Noriko as well, the partner in crime? If not, I'll say thank you very much. And thank you. It was very, very interesting talking about librarian related issues. It's not something that we've had talked about yet. So it was very, very interesting. And yeah, thank you very much for your time. I'll be stopping the recording, but we will be continuing our conversation.
Thank
So
you.
everybody give a hand to Tamao.
Thank you
And
so much. Yeah, thank you.